Do your sales cycles seem to drag on and on and on? Do you attempt to close the sale but you get knocked back with maybes or perhaps even, "I'll have to think about it"? Well, creating urgency in B2B sales is incredibly important, and it's your answer to all of these issues. If your potential customers don't feel in a rush to purchase from you, well, they're communicating that they don't feel like you're really solving any problems worth rushing for. So in this video, I'm going to share 4 tips that will help you create more urgency in sales so that you can reduce the number of maybes that you get without being manipulative or weird in any way. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm Will Barron, founder of salesman.org, where we make selling simple. We break down selling into simple, basic building blocks and then tell you how to assemble them for success. If you want to know more, click the link in the description. And with that said, let's jump right into it. So not being able to create a level of urgency with a potential customer is the number one reason why deals do what we call stall. Now, one of the key differences between high-performing sales professionals that crush targets and those that don't is the number of these stalled potential deals in their sales pipeline. And a potential customer is classed as stalled if you tried to close them and they haven't said yes and they haven't said no. When someone hasn't said yes or no, they're just in this weird limbo. They're just in your pipeline, not going anywhere, not doing anything, and most salespeople don't know how to deal with them. Stalled deals will kill your chances of hitting your sales target. And the 4 tips that I'm going to share with you today is going to help you give them some momentum to keep pushing them through the sales cycle and to increase the level of urgency. Is that how your pipeline looks right now? Do you have a bunch of stalled accounts in there? If so, then keep watching because this video is going to help. And speaking of pipelines, we've got a video coming up where I explain exactly how to prune your pipeline to make you way more efficient with your follow-up. So make sure to click subscribe if you don't want to miss it. So with all that said, let's take a look at the 4 tips to create urgency in sales so that your prospects don't get stuck in your pipeline and you can close more deals quicker. So tip number 1, you really need to understand your potential customers' pain points. So if your potential customers are not in extreme pain, then there's never going to be really any urgency to get their deal done. Typically, there's going to be 3 types of pain points that you should be looking out for when you're going through your discovery questioning process. They are productivity pain points, process pain points, and financial pain points. Now, let me use a quick analogy to explain what a real pain point is. So, rarely do your potential customers need a spade because they need a spade. Even rarer do they buy a spade because they need a hole, which is the classic cliche sales analogy that everyone uses. The reality is, if you want urgency, you need to find customers that have a dead body in the bedroom wardrobe and well, it started to get a bit smelly and their wife has started to get a little bit suspicious about the big padlock on the door. So this dude, this woman, whoever it is, they need to bury this body as quickly as possible. Now this is the real pain. And obviously there's a massive amount of urgency here. So if you tried to sell this dude a spade, well, he wouldn't care about the features and benefits of it. If you tried to sell him a hole digging service, well, he's probably going to be slightly more interested. However, if you explained to him that you could get rid of a body, you could make it disappear, he wouldn't even ask how much the price was. He would jump at the chance of working with you. So what you need to do is work out what the body is that your potential customers are trying to bury. So you can sell them the tool or the solution to help them with the real issue, which is the fact that they might go to prison, as opposed to they need a spade for some random job. Once you start doing this, the level of urgency in your conversations is going to be so high, the change in the time it takes for you to go from prospecting to closing the deal is going to blow your mind. Now, step number 2. The potential customer thinks that they can do it on their own. This is something that I come across commonly with B2B salespeople. This is because B2B salespeople, during the sales process, make it seem all too easy for the customer to remove their pain themselves. Sales professionals, well, they often give way too much free consulting advice throughout the sales process, which gives the potential customer, well, it gives them confidence that they know it all. They now know the secrets and they are capable of solving the problem themselves. This leads to stalled deals and a severe lack of urgency, as the seller is now seen as being inconsequential to the potential customer having their pain points resolved. Now, of course, by all means, share advice, share insights, build a reputation as an expert throughout the sales process. But keep your advice more general to the industry trends, to other products in the marketplace, rather than solving issues for the potential customer right before they're going to pay you. Next up, tip number 3, you've got to follow up quicker. Now, one of the reasons that deals stall and urgency just drops out of the sales process is because salespeople are generally too slow with their follow-ups. So if you've got a sales call on Tuesday, don't give the potential customer a week to put together the information required for you to help them. Instead, arrange the follow-up call for this coming Wednesday or Thursday instead. Arrange it for tomorrow. Why give them a week? Most salespeople, well, they're passive in their follow-up schedule because, well, they're just happy that a potential customer wants to speak to them at all. they're excited about that, the lowest barrier to entry for excitement. High-performing sales professionals, on the other hand, well, they're always oversubscribed with potential meeting options, and so they get their deals moving far quicker to make sure that they physically have enough time to get through them all. And so, with their follow-up dates, they're always set in quick succession, one after the other. And of course, if you're watching this, even if you aren't completely oversubscribed right now, this is the impression that you want to leave on your potential customers if you want this to become the reality in the not too distant future. And finally, tip number 4, you've got to close more often. Now, as crazy as it sounds, sometimes you need to make the deal real for the potential customer by attempting to close it, no matter where you are in the sales process, rather than adding layers of artificial urgency or messing around with pricing or saying that there's a deal for today only. All of these weird ways of trying to manipulate the customer, they can see right through it. Over at salesman.org, the Closing 3.0 methodology is covered in great detail on our platform, but the basic gist of it is that closing the sale can be done with no pressure, no weird manipulation tactics, and 0 chances of rejection by asking the following questions. All you got to do is ask, does it make sense to XYZ? So for example, does it make sense for you to sign up today to relieve the pain point of your sales team underperforming, which I know is stressing you out, and jump on the salesman.org training platform? So if I ask that question to a sales manager, someone I'm selling our product to, they're going to say either yes or no. This question cannot be answered with a maybe, and so you can't stall your own deal by encouraging that. Instantly, by either getting a yes or a no, you've added a level of urgency that didn't exist in this deal before. And of course, if they say yes, well, you've closed the deal, and so the rest of this conversation on creating urgency is irrelevant. Well done you. But if they say no, then you just got to follow up with this next question of what needs to happen to move this forward. Because no matter what the answer, you've automatically built urgency into the conversation, because once this next step is complete, the potential customer themselves, they've said it. They've told you what they specifically need to get the deal done. They've created their own urgency. So to quickly recap this video, 4 tips. Really understand your customer's potential pain point, because if your customer's not in extreme pain, then there's never going to be any urgency to get the deal closed. Next up, the potential customer thinks that they can do it on their own. And by all means, I want you to give advice, I want you to share insights, I want you to build a reputation as a genuine industry expert, because that makes these deals, it lubricates these deals. It does exactly the same thing as adding urgency, but from a different angle. But you've got to keep your advice more general to industry trends rather than trying to solve the specific problem for the potential customer before you get paid. You'd be stupid to do a job and then ask for the money afterwards when all of the pain has disappeared. Tip number 3, you've got to follow up quicker. So if you have a sales call on a Tuesday, don't give the potential customer a week to pull together all the information they require. Get the meeting booked for next Thursday. Get it booked for tomorrow instead. And finally, step 4, you need to close more often, because sometimes you need to make the deal real to the potential customer. And by closing them more often throughout the sales process, it gets more and more real every time you do it. And you can use the Closing 3.0 methodology to create massive urgency and get more deals done faster. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to click subscribe and leave a comment below if you've got any tips of how you create urgency in the sales process. I'll comment down there. I'll get back to you as well. I read all the comments, I reply to all of them, and with that, I'll see you in the next video.